Gentleman from Calgary-Greenway.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A couple of weeks ago, to a great fanfare and superb photo op, the Premier and the Transportation Minister announced that Fort Saskatchewan would see a new bridge built. Just like that, everyone applauded. This project was well received. Community was happy. But let's drill down a little bit. In all this applause, perhaps the people missed that the total funds dedicated to this project are only $10 million. Minister, what will come with the $10 million? What kind of bridge, like a Lego bridge or something?
The Honourable Minister.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for the question. Obviously, the capital plan, as the member ought to know, extends over a number of years. It's a 4-year capital plan, Mr. Speaker, and some projects take more than that. Certain amounts are allocated to that in a given year, and Mr. Speaker, that will get the bridge started, and then we'll finish it, Mr. Speaker.
Supplemental.
Given that the project is set to begin in 2019, with a 3-year build-out, which takes us to 2022, and given that the government has only committed $10 million to this multi-year project without any further indication that it will provide the remaining funds, and given that people of Alberta are sick and tired of this NDP government's buying announcement, to the same minister, when will the government commit the rest of the funds to this project? In 2019, again, an election year promise?
Honourable Member. The Honourable Minister of Infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, you know, it's really interesting that the Honourable Member opposite thinks that we're not going to finish the bridge. Mr. Speaker, he may have not noticed, but there's a change in government, and we do things differently now than they used to do, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that bridge was due for 10 years ago, Mr. Speaker. The amount of traffic on that bridge should have triggered this action 10 years ago, and that government sat around for 8 of those years and did nothing, Mr. Speaker.
Sure it was an oversight. To the Honourable Member, the preambles, be cautious of what you give.
At least we used to. Given that we used to pay our debts on time, and given that there was a lot of fanfare and a lot of photo ops for $10 million, and given that the industrial heartland has been and will continue to be a much-needed economic generator for our province, and given that this bridge must provide full access for heavy industries on the other sides of the river. Minister, can you commit to Albertans today that this will be a wide, heavy load bridge to accommodate traffic to Alberta?
Thank you, Honourable Member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honourable Member, when you're looking at the chair, you'll know when he's standing up. When you're looking to the other side, you sometimes miss it. So I encourage you to look at the chair into the future so that you could stand up on time, sit down on time. Minister of Transportation.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy to look at the chair. The view is much better, Mr. Speaker. Now, the Honourable, the Mayor of Fort Saskatchewan says this announcement is very good news for the prosperity of Alberta's industrial heartland and the quality of life for our residents. We look forward to continued dialogue with the province and our community as the project unfolds and more information is available. Mr. Speaker, we are supportive of the industrial heartland and the economic development that generates for our entire province.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.